21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
And in reality, we have to walk through some uncertain time anytime that there's a huge change, specifically in the finance sector. I saw this in healthcare technology as well. When healthcare technology was still based on paper and you had to have this massive shift into electronics. And there was a lot of unknowns, similar to what we have in crypto. And so this unsettling feeling is normal for me. I think there's a very big shift in the financial world right now with respect to what is the underlying systems that are going to drive financial. Right now in, the second quarter of 2023, there's a lot of uncertainty around the US dollar. What is backing that? And so you're seeing these massive shifts happening at multiple levels. One is, what's the value backing a currency, whether it's Bitcoin and the skepticism around that, or the US dollar and the skepticism that's around that. Then you have the underlying system that will move a currency from point A to point B. If I want to get US dollars from myself to you, how am I going to do that? If I want to get crypto from myself to you, how do I do that? And so there's multiple things that are happening right now that I would say are massive shifts in the financial world.
You have Fox News at one side or CNBC, CNN on other side. So what's the reality?
Great question. I don't pay attention to either one of those organizations, and the reason is I feel like I'm only going to get what they want me to believe, and so that's the tough part, is finding what the truth is. And I believe the truth of the U.S. dollar is at jeopardy today, based on the research I've done, and I also believe that the federal government has to create a better method for getting dollars to move around, the world. And so the Federal Reserve is implementing a new service called FedNow. FedNow is similar to Fed ACH and FedWire. It's not a central bank digital coin, digital currency. It's not a CBDC. It's a new service that instantly moves funds within banks. And that is extremely helpful and kind of meets where cryptocurrency is today. In today's world, if I want to move $1 million using crypto, I can do that instantaneously. If I want to move $1 million using our banking system, I cannot do that instantaneously. So, that is good that the federal government is finally kind of getting up to par. It has a ways to go, though.
What about the rest of the world? So what's the crypto macroeconomic situation or global economic situation?
Yeah, well, the global economic situation, I think, is very much in flux. And I'm going to go back to the US dollar, which has dominated the world for the last 50 years as the primary currency, is now in question. And so what is going to come in and fill that gap? And this is honestly, it's a really good time for crypto to fill that gap. You have a lot of transparency, where I believe transparency is good with government. As a citizen, I want to be able to have some level of anonymity behind my transaction. I'm not doing anything illegal, but I really don't need a federal government watching my every transaction. At a government level, I love the idea of transparency, where crypto provides that. So I do think now is a great time for governments to begin leveraging crypto in a way that facilitates transactions. The majority of countries have used the US dollar to trade, it most specifically with respect to oil. And so most recently, And so most recently you're seeing countries move away from that, which means that there's really less of a reason for them to stockpile the US dollar within their banks. And part of that, I believe, is just the what is back in the US dollar. And the US government continues to just pump and print more and more money, which creates more volatility around the world and weakens the US dollar.
How do you even cope with all those different influences, let's say on that way?
Yeah, I personally, in our company, we won't solve those problems. We're going to be in a position to assist individuals, though, who want to be in the crypto space, and we make it really easy. So our goal is to focus on the consumer and to make it really simple. And not just simple, but also keep it safe. There are a lot of people that want to get into crypto, but they know that there's a lot of risk. And so we're finding ways to de-risk individuals' exposure to crypto. And the other way is we really focus on the tokens that we believe are solid and are good programs. So you have less concern with, a cryptocurrency that's just going to go up and then go back down to zero.
You have a strong background in building great teams centered on customer needs. How do you ensure CoinLion's team remains focused on delivering, let's say, the best possible user experience?
Yeah, in my prior life, I spent 20 plus years in healthcare technology, building electronic medical records and all of the billing systems that go with that. And in order to get adoption, we had to take very complex solutions and make them simple. And so that's one of the things that I feel like I'm great at, is taking a very complex situation and creating simplicity. And that's what we've done at CoinLion. It's not healthcare technology. It is a complicated, and historically it has not been very user-friendly. Crypto has not been very user-friendly. And we're doing it in a way that's very simple. And it's also really secure, so that individuals don't have to walk through what happened with FTX or some of these other projects.
When you speak about de-risk, what do you mean? How your system helped me as a user to be more in peace with myself and my investment?
Yeah. So there's really a few different ways. One is we are really careful about how we leverage and manage all of our user funds. We always keep a 1-to-1 ratio of all user assets at all time. We don't take and stake and move assets off the platform. We're not trying to leverage anybody's assets. And part of that is we're not driven by greed. I'm driven to build a really successful business built on a really good solid foundation. And so this is why you won't see an FTX scenario happen. If there was a run on the bank, that would be easy for us to do because all of the assets are there and have always been there. So that's number one. Number two is we have this ability to create stop losses so that if the market starts to fall 10%, 20%, 30%, it'll stop loss you out. You can sit on the sidelines or you can get back in and play. But a lot of platforms don't have that same built-in stop loss functionality. And so it's one of the ways we can have some downside protection for users.
10% or less?
Even less. There are some of our accounts that set them at like 5% or 3%, and they've got really tight stop losses. That can be a little dangerous in crypto to have tight stop losses because the market fluctuates so rapidly. We don't deal with, crappy tokens. So some of these tokens, like there's just thousands of tokens that were built based on hype, not value. If there's value, we'll put it onto the exchange, onto our platform. Otherwise, we're not going to do it.
Can you explain to all of us a little bit more about the last one? So value, what is the value? What is crappy token? What's not?
I met an individual about 3 months ago, and he said that his net worth a year ago was $800 million, and now it's zero. And I was like, well, how in the world, what happened? And he said, well, we built this, crypto token, and it shot up, and my value was 800 million. And then it tanked and went to zero. I said, what? Well, I'm curious, how does that happen? Was there any value behind the token? He's like, no, it was just hype. We just wanted to hype it up and hope that there was enough people that it would hold the value there. And, with time, we would find out how to build value. I'm like, how does that work? And so those are the scenarios that we don't play in that game. And so we have a smaller subset of tokens, and they're the solid ones. And that's, we really feel like we can protect our users by not having those. Now, if you want to go find those crazy one-off tokens and you want to try to hit it big, there's lots of platforms you can do that. We're not one.
Is there anything like minimum valuable product in token industry?
No, there's really not. There's not. There's a lot of tokens that are truly built on hype, and that's it. There's no underlying value. So with our token, we are building in, it's a utility token. The utility token Lion is creating more value, but that value is really on our platform. And so you can get discounted fees. We have a HODL program where you're able to kind of hold this and get rewarded, incentivized in certain ways. And so the utilities that we're building out are really around this token on our platform. And it's like many other utility tokens, you can't buy or sell or trade our Lion token on other exchanges. Why? It's a utility token designed for our platform. So our goal is not to get this on every exchange around the world. It's like, hey, this is where it's used at. Anybody can take and buy it and move it off the platform because it's crypto. You can hold it in your own wallet, but the utility is really built around the value on our platform.
And regarding the platform, it's a auto trading platform. What does it mean?
Yeah. So it's an auto trading platform designed around trying to capitalize on the volatility. So the market can move 2 to 5% in a single day. So how do you capitalize and win? How do you just get 1 to 2%? But you do that hundreds of times. And so we use bots behind the scenes to make all those trades for you, knowing that crypto is trading 24 hours a day. And you and I, we have to sleep. We're not going to watch the market all the time. So one aspect of the platform is this auto trading. And the other aspect is that you have what's called a publisher who is a sophisticated trader that says, hey, I'm going to publish my strategies. Now you can't see them, but he publishes his statistics on, hey, here's what I'm doing, and here's what all of my subscribers have been able to do. Here's their winnings. Or if the market's down, they're losing, you'll see if they're losing. There's no way for them to monkey with their stats. And so you can subscribe to that publisher with 50% of your portfolio or 10%. And when you subscribe, you inherit and take on all of those strategies. You can't see them, you can't modify them, but you inherit that so that when the system says buy, it buys. And when it says sell, you sell. And so it's really, really simple for that average person who has no idea what they're doing. They have no clue about crypto, but they want to follow somebody who does know what they're doing.
Personal development plays a crucial role in success. Could you share some of your daily routines, mindset practices, or habits contributing to your achievements as an entrepreneur and leader, Eric?
Yeah, well, so they've changed over time. In the peak of in my prior life in the healthcare technology space, I was at the gym by probably 5:30 in the morning, work out for an hour. I would spend time, journaling, meditating, reading scripture, diving into work. You go hard, and then you'd see family at the end of the day, and then you dive back into work. And that regimen worked for about 10 years. I don't know that it was perfected. And I say that because today I spend more time with family and friends, but I optimize my time for work. And so when you only have 6 hours to work in a day, you're going to optimize those 6 hours for exactly what you need to work on. If you have 12 hours of work, you will find work for 12 hours, but you end up working on things that you may not need to. So I've personally found success going 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, but I found that at the expense of family and friends. I'm of the belief, looking in hindsight, that working 70, 80, 90 hours and losing family and friends isn't the winning strategy. And so today I work in a different pace, yet I believe we're going to see the same outcomes. From a social responsibility, I take that very serious, both fiscally, where I'm investing financially into people's lives around the world. So whether that's in India, orphanages. So I've adopted 2 kids from China, and I've got 3 kids biologically. And through that process, I realized you can't adopt every child in the world, but you can find ways to invest into them. So I've done that, whether that's feeding, whether it's building buildings for them. We've built clinics that have been focused on orphan kids or single mothers, and primarily that's been done in Haiti. I do a lot locally here in South Dakota through different programs. One of the projects was even just a skate park here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for kids that love to skateboard. And some of that goes into human trafficking. And then I get my hands dirty with having kids to the house, integrating underprivileged kids into my own house with my own kids in a way that just takes time and energy. So yes, I believe that we all have a responsibility to invest back into our society in the most tangible ways possible.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskorik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.